Transforming Lives, Learning for Lifelong Knowledge and Improvement. Video 4, Backwards Design, a Real-World Example. Recall at the end of Video 1 we introduced backwards design to create PLOs, CLOs, and learning experiences. In Video 3 we looked at the backwards design process and its components. To recap, starting with the goals of the college mission, vision, values, equity pledge, and institutional learning outcomes, we work backwards toward the learning objectives and course content, creating PLOs, CLOs, and learning experiences that bridge learning and teaching. But even for those of us that have been in education for years, this all appears pretty theoretical. Let's look at a real-world example. We will consider educational examples in future videos. Here our mission goal will be healthy living. In the same way that a focus on learning does not change our teaching, a focus on healthy living does not impact much of the rest of our life, other than making more careful choices regarding eating and scheduling exercising and sleeping. We still get up, get dressed, brush our teeth, wear the same clothes, go to the same job, hang out with the same people. But we are more focused to ensure good health, making better conscious choices. Our vision statement is feeling good, feeling fine. Suitable ILOs here might include physical health and mental health. Notice the natural flow as the goals become clarified and more specific, from the mission to the vision to specific outcomes which, if achieved, should lead back to achievement of the vision and realization of the mission. In the language of goals, the ILOs set the goals for good physical and good mental health. That is, we expect to achieve these goals provided we have a foundation, a balanced diet, say, in place, and this foundation supports objectives that provide the means to achieve the ultimate goal, healthy living. In terms of this analogy, it is worth noting that we can't teach enough stuff to make sure everyone is healthy. We don't teach them to be healthy. We establish the goal of healthy living and provide tools so they learn to be healthy. Also, to simplify this example and keep the video short, we will forgo values and keep the number of outcomes, objectives, and learning experiences to a minimum. In later videos, because the construction of PLOs, CLOs, and learning experiences for our disciplines will bridge our teaching, the learning objectives and course content, with learning, the college mission, vision, values, equity statements, and ILOs, we may feel sandwiched trying to connect the intentional with the achievable. Let's see how to deal with this in our real-world example. Now it's time for some PLOs. Now we need to break down the goal of healthy living even further than physical health and mental health, our ILOs. We are looking for the next deeper layer of goals in our development process. What are some of the factors that directly influence physical and mental health? How about diet, nutrition, physical activity, exercise, rest, relaxation? These should be sub-goals and are analogous to the PLO examples we will develop for our disciplines in later videos. Now it's time for the CLO level of goal development. In actual CLO development for our disciplines, we will need to measure lifelong learning at the individual student level. Here, in our real-life example, that is analogous to foundational individual health data. We need to go deeper than the PLOs, at the same time looking from the achievable over to the intentional, knowing that the CLOs must align with intentional experiences that tie back to the objectives. If our overall goal is to be healthy, how can we really know if we are healthy? Data like body weight, blood pressure, lab results, and annual physical findings, our typical ache and pain levels, and our sleep quality determine our individual health and will function as our CLOs. Now for the intentional experiences, analogous to the learning experiences in education. These might include eating less fat and salt and more vegetables, drinking less sugar and caffeine, getting more exercise, relaxing before bed, and going to bed earlier. To bridge the intentional to the achievable, we need the learning experiences to deliver the objectives from the intentional side and impart the outcomes on the achievable side. Much as the course content and learning objectives are delivered through the learning experiences, we need the foundation, a balanced diet, and objectives to influence our food eating and buying and our exercise and rest habits. And we need the experiences, assuming they produce good choices, to lead to appropriate weight and blood pressure readings, acceptable lab results, rejuvenating sleep with minimal aches and pains. In a very calculated, deliberate way, the intentional experiences highlight the essential choices that will determine whether or not the ultimate goal, healthy living, is achieved. Now that the backwards design is complete, with our PLOs, CLOs, and intentional experiences bridging the achievable and intentional, let's see how all this plays out on a typical day. Let's focus on food. Before the day even starts, our plan is in place. We intend to eat a balanced diet, consuming no more than 1,800 calories, with no more than 10% of these calories coming from fat. We get ready to eat breakfast, and it's time for the first food choice of the day. The intentional experience for food presents expectations that, if met, should achieve the calorie and fat count in the objective and achieve appropriate blood pressure, weight, and lab results measured by the CLOs. This will support achievement of the mission, healthy living. That is, the plan for a balanced diet with appropriate calorie and fat intake, when delivered by the vehicle of appropriate food choices, low fat, salt, sugar, caffeine, and plenty of fruits and vegetables, achieves acceptable cholesterol data, diet and nutrition, physical health, feeling good, feeling fine, and finally, healthy living. Recall from video 1 the function of objectives, learning experiences, and outcomes, and their interrelationship. The learning objectives lie on the teaching side, the intentional side. They operationalize the delivery plan for course content and learning outcomes. They serve as the means to deliver the educational goals of instructors, students, and the institution. The learning objectives drive the learning experiences. The learning experiences bridge learning and teaching. They are the vehicle that deliver the educational goals through the course content and the skills, values, and traits. The learning experiences impart the learning outcomes. The learning outcomes live on the learning side. They are the end, achievable, and quantify the attainment of educational goals of the students and institution, the skills, habits, values, and traits that comprise the lifelong knowledge students need for continuous employment and self-awareness. Note that the objectives, intentional experiences, and outcomes for our real-world healthy living example have functionality analogous to the objectives, experiences, and outcomes for learning. For example, the healthy living objectives operationalize our plan. Simply knowing that we want a balanced diet does not provide enough specificity to achieve healthy living. We need a measurable plan. So if you keep track of your calories each day, you will know if the calories consumed is consistent with your healthy living goal. Our objectives provide this plan, but having a plan is not enough. We need to make good choices each day, probably at each meal, to ensure that our calorie count and calorie sources are appropriate for healthy living. That is, we enter our meal times with the intention of eating healthy, helping ensure our healthy living goal is met. But even if our objectives are met and our intentional experiences keep us on the path toward the goal of healthy living, we won't know we are healthy until the outcomes are measured. At the end of the day, either our weight is within established parameters or it isn't. Same for our blood pressure and blood work. But wait, you say, wouldn't it be good enough just to make sure our objectives are met and our intentional experience choices are good? Why do we need the outcomes piece? If we keep our calorie intake under 1,800 per day and minimize our salt and fat intake, why would we need to check our blood pressure? Because until we measure the outcomes, we simply don't know if we are achieving the healthy living goal. For example, suppose the calorie objective is met and we are eating grapefruit for breakfast in place of hash browns. Sounds healthy, but what if we take our medication for high blood pressure in the morning too, and the grapefruit is counteracting the medication? We will still have high blood pressure and are unhealthy, even though the objective is being met and the intentional experience is leading to a healthy choice, on paper at least. Or what if we are running for exercise? So the objective and intentional experience for exercise are being met. No problem with blood pressure here, but what if our knees are hurting from running on hard surfaces? The CLO for aches and pains will identify that neither the vision nor mission are being met. But wait, you say again, aches and pains are subjective, so there's no way to measure them. But wait, I say, measuring learning is about observation, so quantitative data isn't necessary. Certainly, aches and pains have a direct impact on our vision and mission. If we have too many aches or too much pain, we can't be feeling good, feeling fine, so we wouldn't consider ourselves healthy. We must measure them. And we must have the individual self-report, since no one else can feel the aches and pains except the person experiencing them. In this case, having done too much running on hard surfaces, which is causing our knees to hurt, our ache and pain rubric would score a 2, consistent pain in a particular location, which indicates the ache-pain CLO is not being met. Healthy living isn't happening. That's all for now. In video 5, we will look at a hypothetical education backwards design example from mathematics. Real examples are on their way from your colleagues. Thank you for watching. For more videos, visit the Transforming Lives channel.